How would you react if a friend tells you he's investing all of his life savings in lottery tickets? You'd roast him, right? But that's basically how people bet sports. They don't think before they act. And next thing you know, their bankrolls in ICU hooked up to life support. Well, that's not gonna fly with me. That's why I started approaching bets the way surgeons approach scalpels. Precise, not reckless. And I'm not just talking theory here, because I made $10,000 using this exact method. Meanwhile, sportsbooks love to watch genius bettors strut around thinking they cracked the system. But in reality, they're just feeding the book's profit machine. So I'm going to show you a mental model that exposes hidden edges and reveals the plays the books don't want you to see. And by the end of this video, you'll be thinking like an actual sports betting genius, spotting plays that more than double your wagers. But hold on a sec, I noticed that most of you watching aren't subscribed to the channel yet. So if you want to stop donating to the bookies, yacht and vacation fund, subscribe to this channel. But let me ask you this, why do so many bettors think they're smart, yet keep losing? Sure, they'll blame bad luck. But in reality, they never understood this one simple concept. Because have you ever been that guy? You know the one. Your credit card's maxed out and a $500 payment is due tomorrow. But you're not worried, because you've got a plan. You scroll Twitter and boom, 6-leg heater, banger of the day. The Twitter tipster tells you that his cousin played high school ball with the 3rd string point guard, so it's basically insider info. You drop $50 on a risky 6-leg parlay, but the first leg hit, so you're celebrating. Then the second leg, it was a close call, but luck's still on your side. By the 5th leg, you're already texting your credit card company, payments on the way. Now it all comes down to the last leg. Your team's up by 11 with only seconds to go. And then, out of nowhere, the ref blows the whistle. Game over. And 2 free throws later, the spread drops to 9. Congrats. You just donated to the bookies again, and you'll keep running that same losing cycle unless you follow this proven mental model. If you're curious, I actually put together a step-by-step blueprint showing you how I made my first $1,000 with it. It walks you through the exact system I use to find sharp bets, so you're not stuck relying on luck. So hit the link in the description if you want to grab it for free. But going back, what mental model are we talking about here? That brings us to step 2. Because if your only strategy is thinking this one's a lock, yeah, that usually means you're already cooked. Because think about it like trying to buy front row tickets to a sold out concert. You log in at 10 a.m. feeling confident. Meanwhile, everyone else has been refreshing the page since midnight. And by the time you get there, all that's left is the nosebleed section and a broken backstage pass. Yeah, that's what it's like betting last minute based on your ball knowledge. The market's been open for days, and the pros have already taken the value bets. So you really only have 2 options. Either hit mispriced lines early, before the sharps and syndicates clean them up, or catch bad numbers late when breaking news or the public pushes the line too far and a slow book hasn't adjusted yet. If not, just follow this exact strategy and it'll tell you how to find your edges. And if you think I'm exaggerating, check this out. Here's a slip I pulled using the same method. But for this strategy to work, you need to avoid making this major screw up. I fell into this trap once, and it was one of the biggest mistakes I've made in sports betting. So, back at UFC 217, Joanna was the dominant strawweight champ, undefeated, crazy striking, and the line had her as a massive favorite against Rose. Everyone thought it was free money, and so did I. So I went full send. I dropped my entire bankroll on this fight like a college kid buying 20 rounds of shots just to look cool. But in the very first round, Rose drops Joanna with a left hook, finishes her on the ground, and the arena goes wild. Not me though, because my bankroll was as dehydrated as McGregor trying to make featherweight. But one thing that came from that night, it showed me that confidence doesn't protect you, bankroll management does. Which is why some sharp bettors use the Kelly criterion to calculate their unit size. It's supposed to tell you how much to bet based on your edge. But full Kelly is aggressive, and unless you're an absolute beast, you're probably overestimating your edge. That's why most people use quarter Kelly. But if you ask me, just stick to the golden range of 1 to 2% per bet. The Kelly criterion is for try-hard spreadsheet warriors anyway, who love theory more than profit. But let's be real, bankroll management only matters if your bets actually have an edge. Otherwise, you're just managing the speed of your losses. Which brings us to this next step. It's all about finding positive EV betting. But who wants to be sitting there like a nerd, manually scrolling through more than 10 different sports books? I know I don't, and you don't have to, because there are tools now that automate the whole thing. These tools can scan all the books for you, compare the odds side by side, and flag when one sportsbook slips up and offers a good price. And there are a bunch of options out there, but they all basically do the same thing. So feel free to choose whatever you want. Personally, I use OddsJam, and it's like having a price shopping bot on steroids. I've been using this tool for a while, but recently I put it to the test with a 7-day challenge. So I let it guide all my bets. And after a week, I was up $587. But obviously, you can't just fire up OddsJam, blindly copy every plus EV play, and expect to print money. That's how you end up betting Belarusian futsal and wondering why your bankroll's dying. So even if the tool shows you potential value, you still need to apply common sense. For starters, make sure at least 5 major books are offering lines on the game. If only 2 or 3 books are posting odds, there's a good chance the market isn't sharp yet, and that edge might be fake. The same goes for super niche leagues and weird markets. Stuff like alternate spreads, obscure player props, or exact score bets. They can look like positive EV, but not many people are betting on it, so it doesn't take much money to move the lines. All it takes is for one sharp to dump a large amount of money on the game, and now you're no longer positive EV, but honestly, spotting edges like this can sometimes take a village. That's why I built a private group. And in my betting lab, we can track sharp moves together, stay aligned, and make sure we're betting with the edge, not against it. So if you want to join, just hit the link in the description. Who knows, you could be the next bettor to rank number 1. But even if you do everything right, if you're placing hundreds of well thought out bets a month, you're still bound to hit a losing streak. It might only happen once every few years, but when it does, it hits hard. I've been there. Bankroll climbing, confidence sky high, then out of nowhere, 12 straight losses. And for most bettors, that's their breaking point. They spiral, chase losses, second guess every move, and throw their own rules out the window. But I had a simple protocol. So initially you reset your unit size once per week, right? But in the rare situation that your bankroll drops 20% midweek, say from $10,000 to $8,000, it's too risky to stick to the same unit size at 1%. So pause, recalibrate, and reset your unit size to 1% of the new bankroll. So now you're betting $80 instead of $100. It seems small, but it's huge psychologically. It creates breathing room, stops the panic, and keeps you in the game. And this one rule makes sure one bad month doesn't wipe out half of your bankroll. Now moving on to step 6. Okay, so while all these steps build a strong model, this principle is the cherry on top. Because most people try to win their way to profit, but the genius bettors start by learning how to lose on purpose. I know, it sounds weird, but it's the same mindset Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right-hand man, used when he said, "All I want to know is where I'm going to die, so I never go there." And it's a lot like designing an airplane by asking, what would make this crash instantly? You'd skip the wings, overload the engines, maybe let a toddler do the wiring. Obviously, you'd never build that plane, but that list is your blueprint for what to never do. And the same idea applies to sports betting. You don't start by asking, how do I win? You ask, how would I guarantee I lose money over the long run? This principle is known as inversion thinking, and it's what all the sharks do. They eliminate losing behaviors first. They don't do parlays, they don't chase losses, or wager half their bankroll. They don't join crappy Discord servers and copy pics from fake gurus with anime profile pictures. And once they cut out all the losing habits, what's left are actions that will actually make them a profitable bettor. So if you want to see how those same actions can add up to $1 million bankroll, I broke it all down step by step in my next video. Click right here, and I'll tell you how to make $1 million in sports betting like it's second nature.